So
Do you have to, do you find a common thread? Is it, does it run on age lines, or do you find a common thread with the youth that would say, this is the biggest issue they're facing right now? Or the one that they're concerned about, maybe not the biggest issue that we think they're concerned about.
Mm. Yeah, I'm not going to say it's sexually transmitted diseases. Like, you know, whenever I try and do workshops or something, they're like, oh, God, no.
It's not on front of mind for them. What is on front of mind for them?
It's a good question. I mean, I think just trying to connect with other people is really, it's a lot about identity. And it's not even so much about being gay, so much as it is about being, like, that they know that there's something different about them, and how do they, you know, I think as parents, and I'm a parent, and I see myself doing this all the time, things like, you know, oh, you need to be yourself, you're so great, you need to be yourself. Don't wear that. My daughter's only 7 and she dresses like she's 16, right? I was like, oh my God, how did this happen? But, you know, I think we send a lot of contradictory messages, just out of love even, right? Because we want to protect them.
They're so wonderful, and then they do something that's not so wonderful, and we think, well, you could do better than that because you're so wonderful. But all they hear is just, you could do better.
Exactly, exactly. So I think with a lot of the kids that I'm talking to, a lot of the issues they start from home, right? This idea of my identity. I've been emailing with this one girl who I met just at Lake Field when I did. You know, there's always one kid, right? And then it just makes it's like, it doesn't matter if it's just one kid. You know, it's not just one kid. Like, that kid is brave enough to come out and then talk. And then, so I've been emailing because that's how she feels most comfortable. And when I boiled it down with her, she says she's confused, right? As soon as I saw her, I actually saw her in the hall before I knew that I was meeting her, and I was like, how is she doing here? You know, that was my thought. How is she doing here? You know, she's got the ball cap, and she's sporty, and she's got, you know, she's got the look, right? And I'm like, oh, how are you doing? And then that's who the kid was that I was there to meet, right? Okay. And when we boiled it all down, she's got friends, she's got connections, she's not feeling isolated, but she feels, especially at home, she's from a very religious home, she feels there's something wrong with her because my mom, like my dad, like they don't want me to wear my hat. I have to hide my hat. She's got a ball cap. She's very sporty. She's like getting most improved player, you know, in her team, and, which they're supportive of, but not too much. You know, they know, they sense this about it. I mean, I saw her in the hall and I sense this about her, right? So she goes, I just feel they don't like me for who I am, but I don't know who else to be. Like, you know, and it's breaking my heart hearing this and trying to respond to her. So I think it really just boils down to identity for a lot of these kids, and if they're not feeling that their identity, regardless of, because a lot of these kids aren't talking about sex with their parents, they're not out necessarily, but they know that there's something about them that is wrong or different, and it might even just, you know, I try to say, well, maybe they're just, you know, parents are perceptive, but not incredibly perceptive. So they may be sensing something about you, and they may be worried, or they may not be sure how to support you. I'm trying to be positive here, because really I'm going, you know, but I think that if I had to boil it down, because
who am I?
Who am I, and is it okay that I am who I am, and will people like me for who I am? I mean, it's the same thing that teenagers are going through anyway, but it's got this extra layer because they don't see any representations of themselves, too, right? They're not seeing, you know, I talk about this in the workshops, how many times have you seen a girl kiss a guy in a movie? Like, or, you know, how many times have you seen two women kissing in a movie? What? You know, like they don't see any representations. So it's just this constant, even if it's not verbal, this constant reinforcement that whatever they're questioning or however they're feeling, you know, it's not going to be accepted.
My daughter used to refer to it as an option. She said, no one ever made that an option, so I thought there was something wrong with it.
Yeah. And I joke about growing up in, I grew up in Mount Pleasant, which is outside of OMB. If you blink, you're all the way to Ida, you know? So I watched Little House on the Prairie and Happy Days, and on Thursday nights I got to watch Knight Rider, which was awesome. But there wasn't a lot of girl on girl, there wasn't a lot of anything, you know? Like I didn't have any, that option. I was like, so to me it was just this thing that I knew was different about me. There's lots of things that were different about me, but that one I knew I couldn't really talk about.
Have you seen the Out with Dad web series? Look it up.
Yeah.
We're fabulously supportive of that web series. It's wonderful. You have a look at it, you're going to love it. New season's about to start in July. But you can watch all 10 versions of the previous season on the site, or Rogers Cable TV was carrying it, but I don't know in this area.
I'll Google it.
Yeah.